Dana White was recently interviewed by Teddy Atlas and asked about Jake Paul's constant criticism toward him and accusations about him being a cokehead. Dana got straight to it and said, "I got a challenge for Jake Paul. This guy keeps saying that I'm a cokehead. He can randomly cocaine test me for the next 10 years if I can randomly steroid test him for the next 2. Belal Muhammad was interviewed by TMZ Sports and campaigned for either a title shot, a fight versus Masvidal, or Colby Covington. His case for the title was that Covington, Stephen Thompson, Damian Maia, and Masvidal have all already fought for a title twice. His case for a fight versus Masvidal was that he's not only ranked ahead of him, but that he's also beat 2 opponents that defeated Masvidal, which were Damian Maia and Thompson. But as far as the fight he would actually want, he said, "I always wanted to hit Colby in the face. I've been calling for this fight for like 10 years now. Even before he was higher up there, before he was in the rankings, before he was all this. I just disliked that guy, hated that guy, always wanted to punch him in the face." Sherdog reported that Charles Oliveira is still waiting on the $20,000 donation Dustin Poirier promised him inside the cage after their fight, and he isn't really sure if it was a good or bad thing at this point. He said, "I'm sure Poirier had a great intention when he said that, but to tell you the truth, I really don't know if the proposal turned out to be good or bad. Right after the fight, there were so many people with bad intentions asking if I used the money or not, if I spent the money Poirier gave me, and that really pissed me off. I've always done as much as I could since the beginning of my career, helping people with my social projects with the small amount of money I was making. Of course, now that I'm better paid, I'm able to do more and help more people. I have no idea how Poirier is planning to do that. I have no idea how the bureaucracy of that works. My social project is mine. I don't have the documentation once I invest my own money after every fight I have. I just tell people that the money didn't arrive yet. But if Dustin really wants to make a donation and needs those bureaucracy documents, I'll pick some local social project in my area. The most important thing is helping people who need to be helped. But to tell you the truth, after all the headaches I've been dealing with due to the Octagon proposal, I really don't know if it was good or not." This is reminiscent of when Conor McGregor promised to donate $500,000 to Dustin's campaign and then had a brief dispute over the funds not being transferred to Dustin. Conor did eventually keep his end of the bargain and pay the $500,000 he promised 4 months later. Dustin has been upstanding to this point, so we'll see when he completes his promise. As we all know, Dana and Francis Ngannou's management team have not been able to reach an agreement. Dana publicly stated, "Look, if you want to be with us, we'd love to have you. If you don't want to be with us, no problem. It's all good." I think his contract, and this is off the top of my head, if he wins, he still has time with us after this fight. He'd probably have one more fight. Francis Ngannou's manager Marquel was recently interviewed and asked about the current conflict and said that the UFC has not reached out to them since June of this year and that it really isn't a money issue at all. Check it out.
When it comes down to what we've talked and expressed to them as important factors to us, and let me make this clear, it's not all about money. It is 1000% not all about money, and they know that. But at the end of the day, UFC has a business model. That's how they run it with all their fighters. They can't, put themselves in a situation to establish precedent that negatively reflects them. So that's kind of like the rub. Right now, I can call them and say they know our position. We're open to get a deal done, but they also know my phone number. They know how to get a hold of me. If they had an offer that made sense for them and for Francis, we're open to entertain it. But it's a point for me to proactively say, "Hey, let's get a deal done. Let's get a deal done. Let's get a deal done." Right? Because at the end of the day, like, they know where we're at. We feel like they've made it pretty clear where they're at. So it's an unfortunate, and I hate to say this, but it's like it feels like a standoff, but it's really not. It's just like, hey, we would love to be with the UFC. We would love to do business with the UFC, but they've chose to go about the way that they've gone in a way that we don't feel is right. But we could do that. I think for starters, right, Francis would love to have more activity, right? When have you really seen Francis have more than 2 fights in the last however many years, right? In 1 year, right? He's not as active as other heavyweights. Why? Because of me? Because of him? That's a lie. That's
right.
Just what it is. From taking my manager hat off and just putting a fan hat on, I would love to see them to understand what Francis is about and understand his story.
As always, guys, if you liked the video, make sure to hit that like button for me. If you're new, subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date. Thanks for watching.